Welcome to X1T Gaming, and together we're going to revolutionize the game industry. So we just finished part one and part two of the junior programmer, and now we're going to be working on part three. We're going to be working on these little details, like sound effects, a little bit of animations, which is going to be pretty nice. And yeah, the whole process for Unit 3 should be taking about 25 hours for the whole process. And yeah, hopefully I get it. Hopefully it'll be fun. So far, I'm actually enjoying it, which is kind of like surprising. I didn't think I was going to like actually enjoy coding. So I thought it was just going to be painstakingly that I had to go through and just kind of like push through. But no, it's actually pretty good. Okay, so I'm just opening up the starter files right now. I'm importing them because they got like a lot of stuff. Just got to figure out how they all work together, and then we'll go through this thing. But yeah, before that, remember to share, like, and subscribe. I know these videos may be pretty long, so you could go and share one of my other videos that are shorter. They get more views, anyways. But yeah, the whole point of this is to by sharing and subscribing and getting the word out there helps grow this community. It eventually I would be able to monetize for YouTube, and once I start actually making some money, and making some money with the games, I'll get to the point where I can actually hire people and give people opportunities to actually make games, and then with that we could actually start producing high quality games because I, by myself at the moment, I could probably only do mobile games. I don't think I'm going to be doing any PlayStation 5 or Xbox or Nintendo products simply because if I were to do it by myself, I'd probably take like 5 or 10 years to get something that's of good quality, and that's not fair for you guys, and it's not what we're expecting. We don't want to make one good game. We want to make many good games. So make sure you subscribe and share the content so that the word can get out, so that we together can actually revolutionize the gaming industry and change it up. And the whole premise of doing this is to get affordable games of good quality. And if they start doing that because of what we're doing, mission has been accomplished. So that's what we're setting out to do. I could just delete this sample scene, use prototype 3. Okay, so I'll show you what we got right now. So I just opened up this project that we have right here. Got background, ground, stuff like that, just a scene and course libraries. So we got these different sounds that we're going to be using, particle effects. It'll be kind of cool to learn actually how to make these things myself rather than to just do a drag and drop. Farm in town. Okay, so we got a whole whack load of things. So I have a feeling that this is going to be more of a drag and drop just to see where things go rather than actually creating these things ourselves. But yeah, no, that'll be fine. That's fine for now. And this is the scene that we'll be working with. So it's like an endless scroller. So I don't think. Okay. So that's going to be. Yeah, I wonder if I press play. Is there anything set up right now? No, nothing set up. So I'm gonna have to move the camera and stuff like that. Where's my camera? Okay, so I'm gotta go this way. Okay, so this is where the camera's set up. This is where we get our scene. And yeah, so it's a side scroller. I'm pretty sure we're going to be running through this is going to go around, and we'll probably figure out a scene that it'll just wrap around and do its thing. So let's get to it. Let's watch this one. Mark step as complete. Wait, open the pro, delete the sample scene without saving. Then select the background object in the hierarchy, then the sprite render component. Sprite render component. Okay, and then select city, nature, or town. I guess we're just doing so I click here in the hierarchy, then in the sprite render component. Okay, and then select the city. Oh, city, nature, or town. Let's actually see the so this one's the town that we're using. Nature. Let's do nature. So we'll do it like this, and then we'll drag the nature right there. So that's the nature scene. Or let's see the city scene. Ooh, do we want a city slicker? Ooh, ooh, ooh. I think we want to do the city slicker. I wonder what kind of characters that they have. Okay, so they got farm characters. So you got black, brown, white, man, woman. Okay. Let's see the town characters. Do a businessman. And I don't know how to businessman 1, 2, 3. I'm pretty sure it's like white, brown, black. There's a man who's a punk. There's a road worker. There's a woman doctor and a waitress. I feel like I want to be a businessman. Let's pick this one. It's a white guy. Let's rotate him around. See how he looks like. Do we like him? Do we? Oh yeah, I forgot. First F. Got some 5 o'clock shadow going on there. Do we want a businessman? Let's see this punk. No, let's see businessman 2. Yeah, he's just a brown guy. And then this guy's probably a black guy. Yeah. Okay. Let's pick the white businessman. That's who I want. I'm gonna make him running away from stuff. Working hard. So textures. Okay. Interesting. Okay, Mark step is complete. So we're doing a city. He's a city slicker. Businessman in the city I think is good. Choose set up a player character. Drag, and we got to rename him as player to make it easy. So we'll go rename as player. It's there too, so that's good. Add a rigid body component. Doesn't have rigid body. So rigid body component. Add a box collider, then edit the collider bounds. Add a collider. Box collider. And now we want to edit the boundaries for him. I think that's going to be okay, actually. Yeah, that's good. We'll just have it like that. His arms will be not in. I feel like it'll be too much. If his arms are in, okay, now we want to create a new script, create player controller script, and attach it to the player, of course. Okay, so course library, we don't have a scripts thing. So within here, we want to create a folder called scripts. And then within here, we're going to create a first script. Call it player controller. Player controller. And then he's going to go into the player. Boom. So the player now body, box collider, and he has a player script. Nice. So that's part of the next one. It helps that we don't have to read these, or that we could just read them some because we know what we do to do instead of watch the videos. Okay, so in the player CS, declare a new private rigid body player RB value. Okay, and start utilize player RB equal get component rigid body. Use the add force method to make the player jump at the start of the game. Okay, so what he wants us to do. Initializing player RB. So we got this, the player controller. So what we're going to be doing is the private, private rigid body, and we're going to call it player rigid body. Okay, and then it's going to be in the start, so this is going to happen before. So player rigid body equals get component rigid body boom, and then we want to go player rigid body dot add force vector 3 dot up times 1000. Okay, so just from looking at this, I don't know why they wanted to do it the rigid body. Controls an object position throughout physics simulation. Okay, so because we already have rigid body here, there's already kind of like mass and all that kind of stuff included. So we don't have to figure that all out. So the rigid body is what I'm assuming is to make it all like that. So what it looks like you want before when it starts, so it does it once, is a player equals get component rigid body. So it has rigid body, and then the add force jump. So we're just making it jump. So we save, and we press play, and you should jump. And he jumps quite high. I think it's a little bit too high. Yeah, that's too high. So we'll probably have to change that later on. Mark step as complete. Make player jump if spacebar is pressed. Okay, in update, add if then statement checking if the spacebar is pressed. Cut and paste the add force code from, oh, okay. They changed it to 100 in this one. Okay, cut and paste the add force code from start into the if statement. Add the force mode impulse parameters to add force. Call then reduce to multiplier. You know what? Let's just watch the video, see what he says. Let him to kind of explain the stuff. I can vaguely understand what's going on.
Cool, so we're making some good progress. We've added the rigid body to the player so we can use forces. So when we press play, our player flies all the way into the air and then drops all the way back down. Now we're going to make it so we can use input from the player to actually control this jump. So if we go back into our player controller script, we're going to go into our update method and we're going to use an if statement. And in that if statement, we're going to check whenever the player presses the space bar. So using our input manager, we're going to get the key down. So when they press that key down, and the key that we actually want is going to be our space bar. So we're going to get the key code for that. And then I think it's just called space. There you go. And then inside of our if statement, now what we're actually going to do is we're just going to take our add force, cut it out of start, so that way the player doesn't just jump when it starts, although we could do that because that'd be fun. And in our if statement, we'll make it so that the player jumps whenever we press space. Now, one slight change that we can make to this to make it a lot more immediate when the player jumps is by actually changing our add force method just a little bit. So we're going to drop this back down to 100, we'll say maybe 10 for now. So you can see when we were originally passing in this parameter, we were just passing in a vector 3. But you can see when we added this comma that we can actually add in a force mode. And so we can actually apply different forces through this force mode. So, in fact, if we actually type in, oh, it auto completes force mode for us, which is pretty nice. So we'll just type force mode. And then we're actually going to apply an impulse force. Now there's 4 different kinds of forces that you can apply. There's a normal force mode, which applies that force over time. In this case, force mode impulse immediately applies the force that we want to apply. So in this case, you should see that player jump happen a little bit faster. So if we go back into Unity, if we go to our player and we focus on them, and then we play our game. Now when we press space, you can see that the player jumps almost immediately, and we in fact actually need less force because we're not trying to apply a force over time, we're just applying that force right now, so immediately they get to 10. So what you're going to do is you're going to add in your own if statement to...
Okay, so that was nice. That I needed to know the force mode. that one didn't make sense, but it's like, okay, let's try some other ones. So that was impulse force mode. Let's try the acceleration. So if we try the acceleration force mode, let's see what it does. So press play. And I press it. Not working. No, acceleration, I don't know what that does. Let's try another one. Let's try force. Nope, that one is not working either. Okay, let's do the last one. Velocity change. Okay, that one doesn't work either. So we have to go impulse. But I want to see what happens if we don't have it like this. If I press play. It's not working. Did I screw up somewhere? Force mode dot impulse. Okay, it's not working anymore. What did I do? He's got player controller, rigid body. Oh, okay. We're not supposed to have this. Might have accidentally pressed something and brought that back. Okay. So I got the impulse to work. If I press it twice, it goes more. Now let's try all this again. Let's see the acceleration. I'll go save. Well, the acceleration's not working. But it looks like it went up. Okay. Let's try the force. Use the force. Okay, I must have done something wrong. Let's do impulse again. And save. Okay, only impulse works. Weird. Okay, tweak the jump force and gravity. Okay. Oh, we got a lot of stuff. So we got nine lessons, and we're on lesson 5. Okay, maybe we'll do one more video, and we'll call it a day for now. Do it a little bit short. Yesterday I went on for a little bit too long. Okay. Oops, I accidentally pressed complete instead of play. Oops.
Cool. So we can make the player jump. He looks so happy. I'd be jumping for joy right now. So what we're going to do is in our code, so you can see when the player jumps, we have this 10, which is a hard-coded value. We don't like that. So we're going to change this to a variable in case we want to change the amount of force we want to apply going up. So we'll make this public so we can see it and mess around with it. It's going to be a float. And then we're just going to call this jump force because it'll be the force of our jump. And we will set this to 10 for now so that way we can hold it. We're going to remove the 10 and call this jump force. Perfect. Now, one more thing that we're going to do is in our start method, one of the cool things that we can do is actually change the gravity of our physics. So what we can do is we can call physics. So this will actually get all of the physics in our game in Unity. And we can actually get gravity by typing .gravity. So it's a property of our physics. And then we can type in star equals. So if we hold shift on 8, it'll make that star. So that means multiply equals. And then if we type in something like our gravity modifier, so this will be a variable that we'll set later. So we have this weird statement right here, and we've definitely seen a lot of interesting symbols, and this one is definitely a new one. So this is actually a shorter-hand way of saying physics.gravity equals physics.gravity times gravity modifier. So instead of saying this twice, which could both be really confusing and is redundant, we can actually just short form this by saying times equals. So this will be physics.gravity equals physics.gravity times gravity modifier. So we'll get rid of that statement because we don't need it. And we'll go into our variables and we'll set gravity modifier. So it'll be public so we can mess around with the gravity. This will be a float as well. And then we'll use gravity modifier. Cool. Now, when we go back into Unity, so you can see in our player, on our player controller script, we have the jump force and the gravity modifier. So when we press play, if we press space, our player jumps and they're still going. They're never coming down, just forever and ever into the distance. Maybe he might make it to space one day. So, actually, because we multiplied our physics gravity by 0, there's actually no gravity at all. What we actually want to do is if we stop playing, and we'll bring our focus back on the player, and we don't want that view, so let's, there you go, reorient the camera. So if we actually want real physics, we'll set this to 1. So this will actually set it so that the gravity is what gravity normally would be. And now when we press space, the player should jump exactly as they did before. Cool. Now they're jumping a little slow and it looks kind of weird, so we'll actually, let's set this to like 1.5. And then we press space. There you go. It looks a little bit better. Maybe if we set this to like 2 and the jump force, and their player fell over. Let's see if we set the gravity to twice as much, and then we set this to like 15, and now we jump, and there's still a lot. But our player looks really happy, so, you know, can't complain about that. So now what you're going to do in your player controller script, you're going to add.
Okay, so I think we'll end it there for now. Yeah. had a long day yesterday. 2.5 hours of streaming. It was fun though. It's because I was doing my own little project kind of thing. Um, yeah, so this one we'll probably finish up tomorrow. Get all the jumping stuff set up, and then we're going to probably do sound effects, do animations, get to side scroll, and it will be fun. It will be fun. So, yeah, make sure to like and subscribe, and happy early Valentine's Day for you guys. I don't expect you guys to watch me on Monday, and if you do, I am sorry. But yeah, no, for 90 days, I want to be doing a live stream every day at 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So you will see me on Valentine's Day. So if you need a date for a half hour, you can more than welcome to join. Just just get in the habit of doing a little bit every day, and eventually we're going to get this. Eventually we're going to get our first game down. I'm pretty close. I'm pretty close in thinking that I actually have. Well, no, I don't think I could actually do it yet. But I'm pretty close that I think that I almost have all the codes that I need to make it happen. This one with the gravity kind of thing will be kind of nice. Add a gravity modifier to it. Um, yeah, and then interact where you can click on the objects. I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, so I'll see you guys tomorrow, the same time. You guys have a good rest of your day, good rest of your night, or whenever you're seeing this. Okay, see you guys tomorrow.